always gets to one, and then it's fun. What's up, brother man? How you doing today?
Good toy evening to you, brother. How are you doing?
Toy evening to you. I'm fantastic, especially today. Kick-ass episode. Lots of things happening. First half of Marvel Legends review. So we're going to discuss all the legends so far. And there may or may not be multiple heads in this episode. We're not sure yet. And Mr. Storm, you have a lot you got to talk about on the SoCal Joe breakdown. So with all of that, sit back, relax, and during this time, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and comment because you need to. So we'll see you in a minute.
It's always jazzed up when we get new music, isn't it?
Yes, it is. I believe you have something you need to talk about.
I do. Like I said, we've been keeping the format kind of the same way for the past several weeks. And what we thought about is we need to do a Toy Box Chronicle roundtable. So if we were going to do a Toy Box Chronicle roundtable, well, you can't just, you got to actually have a table. It's got to be round. It's got to be people associated with it. So as usual, our frequent guest has been on the show, but we've nicknamed him as Chris, aka Rad, if you know him on certain situations, now aka Chris Legends, because he's bringing our Marvel Legends to shame. So we're about to welcome on, as usual, our frequent PixelsPlasticInk contributor, Chris Legends. Like we should have like a applause button.
Yeah, what? I mean, where's the applause? Or
don't get crazy.
Okay, all right.
We're working on that.
How you doing tonight, brother? I'm great, man. Thanks for the invite of another Toy Box Chronicles Volume 16. But being a big fan of Marvel Legends, I thought I'd join and chat a bit about the new stuff, some cool stuff coming out. So,
well, like again, when we said a roundtable, now, like I said, you've got to know that Chet and I are trying to grow our Marvel Legends collection and everything. Although Chet does have the actual holy grail of Marvel Legends Build-A-Figures, but we've heard that there's a holy grail that showed up at Chris's house. But again, a round table. It's just now this is a triangle table. We need it to be round, so we're going to bring on toy shop owner, customizer extraordinaire, and the newest person to the Toy Box Chronicles. We will say, Richard, welcome in, sir, from Crooked Smiles Kollectibles. Was formerly in Redlands, California, and now he's all over the place. He's got his own YouTube channel. He does a great podcast over there, but we had to steal him for tonight. Welcome, sir. How you doing tonight?
Doing good. How you guys doing today?
Can't complain. Doing good.
Now that we got this round table back.
Exactly. I feel like we did just like some kind of pizza joint round table. We're going to roll right into the topics tonight. And one of the main things is, look, Marvel Legends. We have said this before. Marvel Legends is tearing it up this year. The Marvel team is doing a great job. There's a bunch of releases that have been popping up. And I don't know about you. We thought that we needed to do a 6-month, technically, or 5.5-month review of the Marvel Legends, the drops and everything. So we're going to roll with this. And one of the surprises that hit us early in the week, and it was kind of a shock, was the releasing of the Hulkbuster, which actually, if you haven't ordered them, hopefully you can get them. He's up on, of course, one of our affiliates on PixelsPlasticInk, Entertainment Earth. You can find them over at a couple other sites. I'm sure Richard's site may also have Hulkbusters coming. So what you guys think about that dropping of the Hulkbuster?
If I get them delivered on time.
Yeah, true. Like I said, Chet, what's your thoughts on it, bro?
On Hulkbuster,
Yes, sir.
man. I pre-ordered it. Look, I like it. I think it's a good release. I like what they did with it. I like how they talked about how they had to put it in the box. It's really not to be honest with you, I'm happy that it's not outpriced people's pockets. We've talked a lot about how toy collecting after our generation is kind of like we're good. Who are you going to sell the fucking toys to? And it's like, so with Hulkbuster, I like the size of it. I think it's good. I got to tell you, I love the Tony Stark head. I know that's been kind of like a conversation back and forth, but it's kind of cool that they did that, in my opinion.
Yeah. Chris, what's your thoughts on Hulkbuster?
No, it's about time. I mean, if you wanted a Hulkbuster, the last one really that was semi-articulated outside of like the DLX version that you paid $250 for, a Marvel Legends series was the Build-A-Figure from 2015, the Age of Ultron series. So it's been a long time coming for an actual Hulkbuster. So I think it's cool. It's one of those things like, I'm more of a inbox collector. So I look at packaging as well. I mean, it seems cool packaging. Sits well on a shelf. And it's cool to have a Hulkbuster. So we'll see. I mean, I know it's a beast of a figure, $60.
Yeah.
A little pricey, but I get it. I like the new packaging just in general.
Yes.
I like the new Marvel Legends stuff that's coming out. I like I like the windowed of the old, like the recent Legends figures, but I kind of like this as well. I like the square box. I think it fits well on a shelf. So yeah, I'm excited.
Did they do, or aren't they releasing Ghost Rider in the same style box?
Yeah. All the new 85th anniversary ones, they've all had, well, I guess the return back to the window packaging all has that same kind of like I don't know, it's like a synergy feel or something to it. Richard, what's your thoughts on Hulkbuster, brother?
I love it. I think the price is really fair considering the size of it. It's one of my favorite versions of Iron Man's armor. And it's a nice beefy. I love the way the box is, like you said, the way the box is designed. It's designed to display in box or be taken out. And I'm really excited for. I'm a huge fan of the Hulkbuster. It's one of my favorites. I have the Hot Toys Hulkbuster that I'm staring at right now.
So good.
That took me 3 years to get when I pre-ordered it at San Diego Comic-Con.
That would take me 3 years to pay for.
That thing's a beast.
It's so massive.
Yeah,
it is a beautiful, beautiful piece. But this is something that I think is going to be fun to play with too.
Oh yeah, because you're not playing with the Hot Toys. And is it the Hot Toy one? That's the one that lights up, right? It gives the on display inside the costume of. Okay, yeah,
it's like we were
yeah.
talking about the Galactus. Yeah, well, he's the one upper with that Hot Toy.
Yeah. He just drops it like at a point, like just a Hot Toys.
And next week on Toy Box Chronicles, Chris bought Hot Toys.
Yeah, I literally only have one. How many Hot Toys? I got two Hot Toys, but. That Hulkbuster is another level for sure.
That's the one to have. Again, I've only seen it in imagery. I'm gonna have to drive over to Richard's house to see that one, man.
It's standing next to. I have the premium statue of the Gladiator Hulk, and it's about the same size.
Oh, geez. Yeah, wow.
And if you know how big those premium statues are, they're huge.
I have, they're huge. Yeah, I think the only time I've seen one of those two is a Book Off in Riverside. They had one inside, and I was like, hot dog, man. It's almost like a shelf onto itself. Thing's huge. Next way in the Marvel Legends. Anybody I know, Chris Legends, did you end up buying the Iron Man retro line?
That was the one that I did not, and the reason for it is like I just recently picked up the actual Toy Biz
Oh,
Iron
okay.
Man line.
Mhm.
So I was like, I don't want the I mean, the articulation's obviously different, the figure itself,
Mhm.
but I think if I can pull it, these are just two of the couple, but this is the ones from I think 95. But those are the original ones. So I'm like, I got these original ones. They're pretty minty. I think it's cool that they're re-releasing the retro cards, but I didn't get those this time. But the figure quality is way better than these. But I'm like, I got these. I'll stick with those.
And I see Art or Raven, or why Raven? I'm not even reading right tonight. That's so cool. And it's affordable my country. All right, that's cool too, because when I think he's talking about the Hulkbuster, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
but,
what country are you in? I'm
yeah,
curious, because
that's
I
a
know
good question.
international could be distribution and pricing, and it's sometimes super hard to get some figures.
Well, here's the one thing too. I heard that they were somebody was on Instagram today bitching that it wasn't in the UK or for Hulkbuster. So yeah, that would be interesting. Why? Let us know.
I
Oh, he's in the
think
Philippines. He's in the
Oh,
Philippines.
Philippines. Okay.
Wow. Okay. Wow, that's cool, brother. All right. Well, like I said, then I'm glad it's getting to your area of the world, because a couple of the UK buddies were talking about they weren't going to get that. So that's cool. Chat, did you end up buying the retro ones? Because I know we saw that at WonderCon, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
I see. It's difficult for me because I like Iron Man, but I only like certain things of Iron Man. Hulkbuster, have no problems buying anything Hulkbuster related. I'm not. I didn't buy it. There's a few in the release that I can look at and say like, okay, I'd pick that up, but the Hulkbuster was like a no brainer. The retro Iron Mans, I guess it's cool. It's just not my thing. Like I could spend the money on the comic book edition Transformer. So
Oh yeah, because yeah. Well, like I said again, I give Hasbro credit because they're hitting us from everything from Star Wars to to every time we turn around the GI Joe to, like, this has been the year where they've cleaned everybody's pocketbook out. I'll tell you that.
I'm happy I just paused on Magic, because then I'd have to be buying Magic cards every 3 to 6 months on top of all the shit I'm buying from Hasbro. Like, this is like, this is getting expensive.
Yeah, Richard, your thoughts on the Iron Man retro line? Is it one of those things that you were gonna purchase, or do you think that if you have the old Toy Biz, are you gonna track that stuff down, or maybe this is for the people that don't want to spend that old Toy Biz kind of cash when they're trying to go through eBay or any of the other stores?
Well, the thing about it is, I mean, you're getting more articulation and better quality figures with the new, but something about the nostalgia of the old Toy Biz is amazing. A lot of people that are into it grew up with that. Actually, the old Toy Biz line at my store is one of my best sellers, and they're not super expensive. They're $10, $15, boxed. So, as cool as the legends are, I would prefer to have the old Toy Biz. I got a case just because I think there's some that some customers of mine may want, but for me personally, I prefer the old Toy Biz.
Well, one thing about it too is they are. I think that's the I say the props I'm going to give to Hasbro this year is that the packaging design work that they've done for the retro waves to make them look like Toy Biz. I have noticed that whenever I'm at a convention or someplace, it's catching the eyes of more of the younger consumers, because the boxing for the Toy Biz stuff and even the retro stuff just seems to draw their eyes better than a lot the new packaging. The new packaging is more Art Deco point. This is like, it's nostalgia, but those colors, like, look, the retro wave has like a purplish color to it. It's immediately attracting people to it. So
Well, we had talked about that a while ago, right? Like if you just look at if you just go into a store and look at like the store and what it was, like a Toy Biz, it's gonna catch your eye every time. You're gonna pick it up and buy it, you know?
Yeah, and I think that this one's they'll survive on the shelf a little bit better because there's gonna be kids who's gonna be like, wow. And I think also some of these toy companies that are out there, the independent shops, I think fans will actually immediately go in there and purchase those because this new line looks like it's really meant for younger skewed people or the people that want to have nostalgia and just said, hey, I couldn't find the Toy Biz version. This one's working as well. But I give them credit for that little flip that they did. They did that also with the retro X-Men cards too. It looks better to me, and it's like something about it. I guess maybe because we've been trained to as kids to pick that up. I just immediately look at that like I want to purchase that better than just the nice box window versions that they have now. You know,
I was just thinking the only thing with these is that they may sit. And the reason for it is if you think of like the retro cards that have come out previously, you got the X-Men 97 hottest show. Some of these figures are going for $100, $150. You can't find them. The same thing with some of the retro card X-Men. X-Men is just crazy hot. And then the Spider-Man retro cards, like Spider-Man's the most popular character, but Spider-Verse show, the things, whatever, are kids into Iron Man, right? Like when's the last time we've seen Man, literally Endgame, right? Like, so I'm just thinking there's no animated series to support the figures. So unless you're like a Iron Man collector or like, they're cheap enough for a kid to take it off a peg hook at a Walmart or a Target, I'm wondering they're still available to buy on a lot of websites. And so that tells me maybe they're not going to be as popular. We'll see, but there is no TV show. There's no animated series like some of these other figures that are just flying off the shelf. So that would be my only thought. The figures are cool. Card backs are cool, but I'm wondering if they'll be as popular.
Well, here's what surprised me too is that some of that X-Men line made it into Ross. And that's what I wasn't expecting. Now you did kind of hit me because I thought like the
uncanny
Mark
ones, though, right? Not the
the uncanny. No, not the 97. No, the uncanny ones. But as I'm looking at what might pop up in Ross, I got a feeling that maybe that Mark 1, his original suit, that looks like that might be a Ross candidate. But I don't think the other Iron Man armor version, maybe She-Hulk, a couple of characters might, but I think those Iron Mans might actually move off the shelf a little bit better than that.
I hope so. I mean, but also if they end up in Ross, all good. I'll pay.
I'll pay
$7 for a damn figure.
Hey, Richard, what's the customizable factors on the Iron Man Retro Wave? Any plans for that or anything, or is that just something like it's too new or what?
It's too new. I'd have to see what I can kit bash and move together. That's the problem with the armored figures is because they're so bulky. It's getting to kit bash pieces, one piece to another. Sometimes they just look weird, or there's a lot of molding, which the sculpting it can become brittle at points, and it's especially if it's like a commission. I worry about it breaking off.
Well, that makes sense. Do you think which ones do you think that that retro wave? You think that might make it into Ross too, or do you think actually it's going to actually fly off the toy store shelves?
I think it's going to sit. It's going to be similar like the GI Joe card, the retro cards. It's gonna. There's certain characters or certain ones will be desirable, and the rest are going to sit.
Well, I guess it's a customizer's dream of some of those retro GI Joe card backs. I have seen more of those retro card backs being redeveloped to the other characters than I've seen anything, and I'm sure there's a wave of thousands of Snake Eyes figures from that Snake Eyes movie that's been reincorporated too. I still see some of those at Ross. I think I saw last time it was like $2.99 at Ross. There was a sign like "Please buy me."
If you ever want a few, let me know. I'll go get them at Ollie's. They're like $1, I think, at this point. I'll just ship them down there. You guys have a bunch.
So we have
Ollie's is like the safe haven for like just you don't want it, or you just need to build army build or something.
Yeah, it's like it's the Snake Eyes figures, all the Eternals, and Shang-Chi. I've seen them all those characters.
That's all
all
is.
that Raleigh's.
Was $5.99, now $1.99. Now you can just take these.
Pretty soon you're gonna start seeing them like at the Goodwill donation bin. Just take them with you and just leave. So, all right. Well, we've got also since we have our two Marvel Legends gurus of the show tonight. And then we do know that like Chris, aka Chris Legends, does have the Zabu line. And what do you guys think about the Zabu line? Anybody going hard in that line?
I thought Richard, you had an interesting point pre-show about Kazar. Like, it seems like that seems to be a super customizable fig, and I'm wondering if that will be popular because of that. Like, what's your take on that?
Richard, what's your take on it, brother?
I think in general it's going to be the most desirable out of the group.
Yeah.
Well, he's the only character.
Customizing is starting to get huge, and it's a body just like. Yeah. Well, the thing is with the customization, there was a point where Namor, when the Legends Namor came out, it was really popular, but that's because everybody was making Zartan out of him.
Oh, really? I wouldn't have thought
certain bodies are just easily used. Yeah.
That's crazy. Well,
yeah,
I will say of the wave, like I wanted Cable. I thought it was a cool Cable figure. This is a heavy figure, and that's because you got Zabu's body in there. So Wolfsbane gets you like the big baff piece, but yeah, I don't know. It's kind of I'm on the fence. I mean, I got the wave, but I really wanted Cable. There's a couple other cool figs, but I'm still waiting for. You think about years and years ago, the waves. It was like every figure was crazy, like amazing. They're throwing in some characters in here that's like the previous wave. So this one's okay. Like if I was rating from a scale of 1 to 10 for this wave, I'd put it like at a 6.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I know there's a couple. I know the Wolfbane. I know somebody was saying somewhere, I don't know, DM me or something, like they were waiting for it because I guess there's several people trying to complete. I think Wolfbane's in X-Force, right? They're trying to complete that that wave, and they say there's been a small breakdown of those characters that they kind of been spreading them out. So that's kind of good if you're like a completist and want to actually complete some of your teams. Some of the other figures, again, it's like, Zabu is the reason why I wanted the way, but like this one is like after you get the Kazar, the main character. Really, I don't have any other characters that I want out of that wave, and that's unfortunate. So I'm gonna have to pay somebody somewhere exuberant amount of money for Zabu, because Zabu's gonna cost.
The coolest.
I think that's by design. They do that. They always make the Build-A-Figure the most desirable.
Yeah. Well, they should, but also the killer of this is that usually with some of the Build-A-Figures, there are at least 3 to 4 characters that you really want out of that wave. This was the first time I saw it, and I was like, look, I like the card back version of Cable. That I think it's a better looking version. It's comparable to how he's done in the comic under the Rob Liefeld run. This Cable more or less kind of reminds me of maybe earlier Andy Kubert or some artist towards that one, where it was like it's a different version, and they're always going to Cable. I think Cable's like Deadpool. There's going to be multiple versions of Deadpool. There's multiple versions of Cable because they are great characters, but that wasn't enough to entice me to do that. And I remember Chet and I was talking about the Fling Fam Fu, the Build-A-Figure series with all the different characters in there. It was like, look, the build Fing Fang Fu is like you didn't give it care about how many other characters you had to rip out of those packages, because that is a huge like Build-A-Figure. Now Zabu is a pretty good sized one, but like nothing compared to wow. Nothing. So if it was something that would have enticed me in that, because it's like a big cat there go Fing Fan making an appearance on the show again.
So it's like, I don't know how you put this, like, you can't, it's just to put it in like a box and like think of like what this came in that's like separate. This is like
well, I remember the head came with She-Hulk.
Yeah.
And nobody wanted She-Hulk, and that's why they put the head in with She-Hulk. It's a strategy. It's like put the least desirable figure. You put the big thing head in there.
And I'm wondering if anybody did any customizations to put the purple pants on them. Now that would be sacrilegious.
Right there is the holy grail of Build-A-Figures.
Yeah. Maybe you can actually have somebody like stitch some pants and just put them on, because you don't want anyone else making some Velcro, because like I can't see. I wouldn't
let anybody fucking touch him to put purple pants on him. You pay me $600 to touch him and put purple pants on it. Like
that's the thing about the Marvel Universe. This giant dragon wearing purple pants walking around. No one thought about that one.
Yeah.
But other than that, you think anybody's going to do any customizations, Richard, to Zabu, or you think they're going to keep them just the same? Yeah, maybe adding some stripes to them.
I think on a large part, people are going to keep them just the same. I think when it comes, I mean, you never know. Some people might do details. I mean, hell, you had people customizing the HasLab Galactus. So,
wow.
I heard about that. I didn't look.
There was some awesome customs that were put out there.
Yeah, there must be, because, like I said, you mess up on that one. It's not if you go and get another one. That's a costly mistake.
I saw one of my favorite customizations that I just saw recently was the Pun Buster, and it was a Punisher.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what I couldn't tell, but picture like a Hulkbuster painted with the skull chest, and then the Walgreens headband Punisher head on top of it. It was like so awesome. Like they did such a great job. It was like custom, but I was like, wow, that's a cool thing. I haven't seen that one.
Well, they're definitely
that's an amazing idea.
Yeah. So what's anybody's thoughts on the end? Because we've seen up to this point what they've done so far. And again, they just dropped Hulkbuster today. If anybody's watching the show, you should be able to find him. He should be at all the outlets because he was all over the place. But they dropped that today for pre-order. And I know it was the biggest thing on Instagram. People was like, I'm ordering. And I think I had some discussion with Chet early in the day, like, you picking up Hulkbuster? And then I saw like a cube come through. I was like, yeah, he got it. What's anybody's thoughts on what do you think the end of the year? Have they just done a great job the first 2 quarters?
Mr. Storm, I think you're forgetting about my 2 favorite Marvel Legends figures that have come out. We bypassed those. First off.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I forgot about that one. Yeah, the Hydra.
Come on, man.
Captain America. Wow.
Now, I know about the head sculpt. The face is kind of weird, but like that suit, oh, man. And then I know a lot of people don't like this one, man, but no.
Baron Zemo? No.
I thought this was cool. This is a cool 2-pack. Not super popular. You can still get that on Amazon. It's not selling out. But I like this cap. It's my favorite one they've released so far. So I think that's an underrated one, Walmart exclusive.
I didn't realize that was that one.
The Hydra version of them. Yeah, that's that one has been. I've noticed a couple other people's feeds that's blown up as well. But the Baron Zemo, the one that worked for that was due to the point because everybody was shocked when they put him in the mask. Because by them putting in a mask, that means that at one part of the year or towards into next year, we're going to get a hooded corporate commander due to that, because you can't run that rhyme that we're not going to put their characters in mask, and then you do the one character that had 2 alternate heads, and you put them in the mask. You know.
Well, that figure. Good luck finding that figure if that happens.
Oh no, that's going to be ordered to day one.
If you got a Cobra Mask Cobra Commander.
Well, technically, we'll bring this up a little later, but there was a customizer that did some 3D sculpts, and he had some pretty nice Cobra Commander heads. It was at the SoCal Joe show, and the one he did as Crimson, and I said I never thought about our resident customizer probably has it, but a Crimson Cobra Commander, I was like, now that makes me want to go actually get the Crimson Guard's body to it. There you go.
Oh, wow. That's rad.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Richard, do you remember who's the guy that sculpted
I still need
those?
to paint it, but
yeah, I can't remember his name, and I know I should.
I believe it's the name of his is Big Head.
There you go. That's it. Yep. And it's more appropriate to what it is. It should be Hooded Head now. But yeah, he had a couple of those that were awesome. I'll say even to the point where the Cobra symbol is like extended above. It's not flat. So somebody was 3D printing their behind off.
Yeah.
For that. So that was one of the ones. It caught my eye right when I walked by. Yeah, it caught my eye. I was walking right by the table, and instantaneously, wait, what's this? And he was like, "Oh no, I've been working on this. You've done your job, man. They should somebody at Hasbro should be hiring you." So that's cool. But no, Chris, I did forget about that one. You and I have a little problem because once you started doing the Captain America, I started ordering like a bunch of Captain Americas. I did the U.S. Agent version. There's a bunch of crap that's coming. And he was like, "Oh no, I did Captain America." So I was like, "Oh great, there's a huge Captain America display." And I know I'm waiting for Sam that'll be coming with the big wings and everything for the Target exclusive. So that's going to be coming in. That's going to be cool. So look, again, like I said, what does everybody think about the end of the year? You think Marvel's capped it, or you think they're waiting for their best stuff towards the end of the year?
I mean, there's some incredible pre-orders still to arrive. So they've announced some cool stuff. I think there's probably some other stuff in the pipeline. But I don't think they're done. I think there's some really cool stuff, and I think they've done a tremendous job recovering from the non-windowed packaging, the bad figures, the Eternals, the garbage figs that post-COVID came out, man. It was tough. And I think they took feedback. They got production in line. I'm sure they tried to save a buck on manufacturing the packaging and getting rid of plastic. And I think they learned their lesson, man, because I still see those things in Walmart. Those like bad figures, man. So I have hope. There's some cool shit coming up.
Well, I think also too with the returning back to the the plastic packaging is, look, those characters that they were designing in the box look like crap. When you pulled it out, it didn't look anything like the photos, and they could get away with low quality if you got that character in the actual box. But now it kind of keeps up because that Hulkbuster was the one where, like, look, if that would have been in the packaging and it would have just been like, just the cardboard packaging, there's no way I would have ordered that unless I would have done that from Hasbro Post, because I could not trust anyone else that it would be in that package.
If you're going to do a non-windowed package, do something like the VHS line, right? Like if you're going to do something like that, then I'm like, that is displayable, right? But don't give me that bullshit that was on the peg hooks that nobody wanted. If you're going to do that, that's the kind of packaging that I want. And that's cool too. Retro look. They could still do stuff like that.
Yeah, but it's okay for Wave, not across the entire line.
Yeah.
Richard, how did the difference between windowless packaging and window packaging? Did you see an uptick in sales, or what was your experiences with that?
Oh no. People hated the windowless packaging. The only thing that helped me out was I was able to guarantee, because I was getting direct from distributor, that they were getting what they wanted, as opposed to opening up and finding a salt shaker or something stupid like that. But the problem with the windowless was the sculpting. The quality of the sculpting went down, and the paint applications were horrible. Like the sculpting was, I mean, it wasn't the best quality, but it wasn't horrible. But the paint application, like you'd get people whose eyes were down here or something. Like the paint applications were just off, just really, really bad. And you can't hide that with a window now.
Well, I know, yeah, it keeps you. I think it keeps Hasbro honest. You know, like I said, again, I'm all up for. I understand they're a corporation; you have to cut costs, but when it's at the extent that it's done. And they could have went from the same way there. I don't know if anyone's seen any Transformer Legacies. They're in the package. They're windowless, but the character was cut out. At least you could see the character. So, you know, if you're going to do something like that, then you got to get the view. Chet, what do you think about the end of the year? You think they've done their best, or you think the best is yet to come?
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. It's hard to tell with Hasbro recently. I think they're holding out something. I don't know what it is, but I think they're holding out, and I think it's gonna be a HasLab. We'll probably tap out the year for them, like some version of some Marvel HasLab no one saw coming. What would be interesting is to see like a HasLab of Hulkbuster and then compare that to the Hot Toys Hulkbuster, just to see how they did it. But I have a feeling that like they'll never do that because Hot Toys literally put them in their place with because I don't think you're gonna get a better one than that. I mean, look, here's what I hope Hasbro does with Marvel Legends. Make the announcement videos on YouTube watchable would be a good start. Because every time I watch something from Hasbro about a HasLab or something that's coming out, it's just like it's so painful, and I just wish that they would like look if they want to do these kind of announcements, sign NDAs with some more well-known like toy tubers, get them to do it because they'll be excited, they'll be pumped to do it. We're all nerds, like we understand NDAs, we're not going to break them. But if you want to build excitement, like and this is like back to the whole problem with the bullshit of like early 2000s, like 2013 to 2017 18, you had like YouTubers like really pushing like the news releases and things like that, and then Marvel stopped sending all that out because they were like, we could do our own thing with their Marvel whatever spotlight channel they had on YouTube that didn't work out the way they thought it would. And I think that's just where we're at with the toys. I think that they're gonna get to a point with the toys where they're gonna be like, well, what's next for Marvel Legends? And unfortunately, I think what they will do is make the really cool shit all build a figure. So we'll see what happens.
Well, that makes sense and everything like that. Well, again, I just speculating. I don't know what the next Marvel major HasLab would be because I thought the Giant Man was underwhelming for them. I don't know because so far they've proven it's bigger and better. Galactus, which Chris Legends has, and then you think about the Sentinel. I don't know what else they could do. What other big version of it? Anybody got any ideas? What would be like something worthy of a Marvel HasLab at the end of the year?
Yeah, the Helicarrier.
Oh yeah, well that's I don't know if they could. Wow, bro. Wow.
Hey, you asked, man. It's just the modern day USS flag.
Go ahead, Richard.
I was thinking the Blackbird.
Oh, yeah, that would go with those X-Men 97 figures if you could find them.
I think, Chet, you're gonna probably hate me. but Fing Fang Foom, but triple.
I'm
size.
telling you. With the purple pants. You can exchange them. You can put the purple pants on them and change them back.
Well,
think about it. They are in the retro mindset right now. The retro cards, the retro. What better way than to bring back Fing in a HasLab project and $3.99 for this beast of a HasLab?
It would it would just up the price of the old one.
It would, but also the old one would be the price of the new one.
You could also do what about Destroyer? You could do a Thor Destroyer and have a no, not cool enough.
I don't know.
Right there with Giant Man.
Yeah, well, once you said Fing Fan Fu, I'm like maybe they have the Mandarin show up with them, because there's so many different characters, and I don't know if correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if there has been a Mandarin in the Marvel Legends. Yeah, I don't think I've seen that character. So if you're gonna do that,
if you want to keep it simple, you could do
not in Legends.
Yeah, so we haven't seen it, so that would be a heck of a tier, because usually with the HasLab, you want to have the characters that you can't get in the line and one that probably won't be released on their own. So I don't know. But
they could do a really cool HasLab War Machine.
I don't know if he's but on his own is
yeah, they could definitely do a really, really good HasLab War Machine, because like War Machine, the reason why it would work as a HasLab is because obviously it's just overloaded with guns and just anything you could think of. Plus War Machine also, like, it's a little bit cooler than Iron Man, in my opinion. But
what if they did the Iron Man factory, and as the tiers, they had like several different Iron Mans that came with them that they haven't made yet? Have it light up and do something. I don't know where you have the space at. Again, it's just like the Hurricane. You just run out of space.
If it's anything like the stupid shit we saw for the HasLab for Star Wars, they're doing
they're
doing the cantina, so they might as well do Tony Stark's house on the edge of Malibu.
That would be kind of cool. All right. Well, like I said again, while the Marvel Legends we can go on and on about and everything, let's go over some stuff. We had the SoCal Joe show that was this Sunday, and let me tell you something. First of all, thanks to everybody that hit us up on Instagram about it and everything. All the people that were there, got some special people to thank and everything. Let's go with Mr. Eben Foster, the organizer of the event. Always cool. Every time you go in there, it usually makes it a family event. All right. I see our boy Meeks has popped in. What's going on, Meeks? Always nice to have you pop on, man. But he always puts on a great event. It's a family event. He normally has his family members there. It's always a nice, intimate kind of thing where you walk in and everyone's always a great atmosphere. We've been to some conventions that where it's the atmosphere wasn't going. One thing that I will say though that I heard throughout the convention was this whole G.I. Joe beef between channels, because a lot of people, when they knew I had a YouTube channel, they asked, "Are you?" I was like, that I was not expecting that to get around to the convention floor. We're going to talk about that at the end of the show, but that kind of surprised me. I was like, wow, this has gotten bigger than what it should be. But great customizers. The one thing that I was surprised about, and we've got Richard that popped on tonight for one reason as well, is the rise of customization, because there were several customizers there that, look, I was never big into customizing figures or really thought about buying extension packs, but it's undeniable. Like some of the stuff that was there. One of the guys, Yo to the Joe, which I love that name and everything. He had some 3 3/4 molds that he did himself. I was like, wow. I was like, so these, like, it looked just as good as some of the mainline stuff, like the stuff that, like, way better than the reaction figures that Super 7 is doing. These guys were putting but also there was a gentleman named Adam Anthony, which was kind of cool. He had his own. Let's see if we can put this up. He gave me a pack of hands and guns for the 3 3/4. He had his own figures there. That's something that I'm starting to see that I thought only the bigger companies could do, was customization. That's seeping its way into the community a little bit more, and I'm kind of glad. And like I said again, Richard, that we have tonight and everything, is an awesome customizer. Just seeing some of his stuff, and I would tell anybody to check his stuff out, because he's got some stuff that, like Super 7 should be hiring him, because the I thought the Wu-Tang figures definitely could have used a better customizer when I saw the stuff that you were doing, man. Because wow, like, again, it's got a dope Tupac Shakur figure that we're going to talk about. It's going to be making its way to the collection. I never thought that Tupac would make his way into the collection, but somehow he's going to be there. So but that show, really, there was a lot of customizers, a lot of vintage great toys, but it's the rise of customizers that got me. Richard, now I know we're going to do the Robo toy show. Just how big has customization gotten at these smaller conventions, man?
Well, I mean, customization has been around basically since the 70s. You had people that would boil and pop Star Wars figures back in the day. You warm it up to pop the heads off, the arms off, and replace it. I used to do it 3 3/4 Joes when I was a kid, and it kind of started dying down a little bit in the early 2000s, but then had started coming back probably around in the 2010s. You had customizers who would make O-ring Joes. There's one particular that Black Major who does molds of the original O-ring Joe. He mostly does like bats and stuff like that. His stuff is really desirable and really quality. Like, he does custom bats, but they're like he would do bats with like Transformers logos, Transformers colors. So that started bringing it back. And I think probably over the last 5 years, and a lot of it comes from the fact that a lot of people are very disheartened with the molding of most of these action figures' heads. I'm a huge Captain America fan. Captain America is one of my favorite characters in the Marvel Universe. I have never been happy with a single head mold that's come out for him. But there's customizers that you can find, at shows or on Etsy or on eBay that do some of these head sculpts that are absolutely amazing. And then you get ones where you can, where companies have lost the license to do something, and guy like the one that was there, the big head, who does some really awesome head sculpts. I mean, there's the fridge. I mean, you're not going to get that from Hasbro because they lost the licensing.
Really? Is that why I haven't seen a fridge? I was kind of wondering. I thought when Sergeant Slaughter came back, at one time I was going to get myself a classified fridge, but I can't find them.
Wow.
Now they can always get the license again, but they don't have it right now.
Okay. Yeah.
So a lot of it is being disheartened. I mean, if you look. Yeah, if you look at certain figures that came out, especially on the G.I. Joe line, if you look at somebody like Falcon or CoverGirl, those had the absolute worst head sculpts imaginable.
True.
And a lot of people were very disheartened by that. So customizers started putting out their own. Plus, you had the original when the classified first came out, they came with Nerf guns.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they were all bendable.
So people started printing up, they started putting up weapons and all kinds of stuff.
Well, I know Gridiron Studios does.
So when it comes to customizing, you're pretty much limited by your imagination.
True. I know Gridiron Studios has been doing a lot of extension packs for a lot of the G.I. Joe figure lines and everything, but I have seen a lot of customization with some of those weapons that have taken it to the next level too. That does make a fairly amount of good sense, man. One of the things that also, when we were running through the SoCal show, the big attraction to the show was they had Fresh Monkey Fiction. there, which they're kind of like, small, but yet moving up in a level. And, I took a great amount of time from the owner and founder of Fresh Monkey Fiction, Mr. Bill Murphy. He was there. We talked for the longest, and he has Eagle Force, which me being a GI Joe fan, I did not know that Eagle Force was actually out before GI Joe, because they shared a character Wild Bill, and I was like, well, wait a minute, isn't that a Joe character? And he gave me an actual Eagle Force GI Joe history lesson that took place for about a half an hour. So I'd like to thank him for that, because I'm thoroughly now introduced into this line of characters that I didn't know had actually existed. But he was there. He also had the Chris. He had the Operation Monster Force. Some of the scopes there, and then he was talking about Big Bad Toy Store and how they're basically a co-producer of this now. And talk to him. We're going to have him on Toy Box Chronicles one night. But those figures are way impressive. Looking them at the convention, that the scope on those Monster Force figures were probably some of the better scopes I've seen, even better than a lot of the Hasbro and Marvel stuff that they're doing. So, like, I got to give him, and I think that we're going to start seeing the rise, because just like he's doing his own original characters with some of these, I've got to start thinking some of these also customizer are going to have their own legit own lines that they're going to be showing up these conventions as well, too, because we've seen, like, with Four Horsemen or a bunch of other companies, that's really starting to become big now. But I think it's left the door open for a lot of these little guys. It was great that the Yojo show or the SoCal show was able to have some of those guys in there, because they're the same guys who are going to be at the Robo Toy Show. And of course, I've got to give a props out to my boy Joel from Fictional Studios. He should be working on his Instagram. I hope he's doing that and not watching the show. But it's always cool. He has some great stuff there too. And then of course Richard had a booth there. And are you planning to do the Robo Toy Store, Richard? I couldn't hear you, Richard. Are you planning to do that?
What was that?
Are you planning to do the Robo Toy Show as well, or are you just gonna wait for another show? Or
I didn't get a chance to get a booth in on that one.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, I know myself.
No, we were closed for 2 months.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So we're barely starting to recover and start getting out there again.
That makes sense, brother. Well, I know on that high note too is that myself, Chris, and Dr. Brentley, and hopefully Mr. Maddox, if he can, we're planning on doing the Robo Toy Show on June 9th at the Burbank. Let me make sure I got this right. At the Marriott Convention Center. The new location is going to be in Burbank at the Marriott Convention Center. Previously, it was in Pasadena, so now they're moving up to a bigger point. And there's a lot of the vendors that was at the SoCal Joe show will be making their reigns over there as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. Other than that, Chet, any news for you, brother?
Well, I think we're almost ready to record some stuff for Retro Rewind. But in terms of like any major news, no, man. I mean, I'm excited about a bunch of stuff that's going to be hitting the channel. For those of you who don't know, Toy Box Chronicles is going to be releasing our own version of figure stands. Where I'm just redesigning those. I have some other ideas for Foot Locker stands, for pegboards for walls, so you can put your guns on them. So I'm back to the drawing board. The initial ones we have, they work. They're great. We want to make them, but there unfortunately is somebody else out there claiming that they did it when we all know where they got the files from. But ours currently are pretty rad. You could see them on somewhere in the background of Mr. Storm, and then I don't know if
move out of the way, make sure we can see General Hawk standing up on it. Actually, Wednesdays I'll get a detached one, but I'll throw a photo of it up on the Shadow Nose Network or one of our mods up on the Shadow Nose Network Instagram page, so you can see the actual production version of the Foot Locker one for if you're into the Action Force or G.I. Joe Classified or any other of these war characters. They fit for 3 3/4 inch and 6-inch characters. The Foot Locker opens up. You can put the weapons inside the Foot Locker, or you can have them pose on it. But I'm using it where General Hawk's standing on it because he is the leader of the Joes, so he needs to be a little bit out there, a little bit up before everyone else. But that's what we're also working on. Richard, anything else? And I know you have a podcast right over your YouTube channel. Why don't you get that information out, sir?
Yeah, we have a podcast at KS Kollectibles. Kollectibles is also spelled with a K. It's my brand. It's easy to remember. We drop our podcast every Wednesday at 5 p.m.
Okay.
Pretty much we cover everything. We do a lot of toy reviews. We do retro toys, retro movies. Sometimes we review pretty much whatever. Like it's just a conversation between a couple of geeks. There's no real structure to
it. Sounds like
us. It's a fun time. Really, to me, it's an advertisement, and it's a way for me to connect with customers.
Mm-hmm. Well, like I said, I caught a couple episodes. It's great. Any of our Shadow Nose Network guys, please go over to Richard's channel, subscribe to him. This will not be the last time you will see Richard's face. Of course, we all know we see Chris's face on Fridays with all of us, but we're definitely going to keep bringing the roundtable back. Again, we've got some guests that we're lining up. One again is Bill Murphy from Fresh Monkey Fiction. I've had a conversation with him. He's willing to come on some nights. The organizer of the SoCal Joe show, Mr. Evan Foster, will come on one night, and so we've got some guests lined up. We're going to try to bring this up, but we definitely will have Richard back. You'll see his face a little bit more frequently on our channel, and I don't know if Chet and I can make it to his, but we will if he ever wants us over there. And so in parting ways and everything else like that, we normally have these situations. So I'm going to give Chet the last word of the night, Chet, because I know our buddy Meeks is waiting for the last word of the night.
Yeah, don't forget to, you want to make sure you subscribe because we are paying for the subscriptions for you all month long. So they're free for you. We'll pay for those. And as always, we definitely love when you comment. So we encourage you to comment below because when you comment below, if you know, well, then you know. So catch our live streams Wednesdays, Fridays, and any other days that end with Y. Chris, Richard, it has been fan-freaking-tastic having you guys on this show. Much appreciated, Richard. Anytime you just want another face, another brother of the Headband Club, you hit us up. We'll jump on. Customizing is starting to get under my skin. I'm thinking to try it. We'll see. Who knows? I got Ollie's up the street, so I can go buy everything for like $3. Yeah, I think that's it, Chris.
Just so you know, I do host classes teaching people how to do customizations.
There you go. There it is.
We may have to go down and film that as well and give out that information.
I want to customize my Fin Fang Foom with purple pants. Chris, anything from you, Chris? I want to. You almost ready for those retro rewinds to be released?
Yeah, we're hyping it up like a record release that people keep talking about 10 years in the making, but 100% definitely ready.
Well, that's gonna do it for us. We're almost at the 1 hour mark, and we don't want to act like we got nothing else to do. We got to pretend at some point in time. So from everyone here at the Shadow Nose Network, specifically Toy Box Chronicles, and Richard, we all want to say thank you. It's been fantastic for you. It's been great for you. You're welcome for another fantastic day. And if you know, you know,